Good morning everybody, welcome to another book picker video. Today we are going to continue the Harry Potter series with Harry Potter part 4, which is Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. I am sorry for the long wait. I will try to make my upload schedule a little bit better, so I'm not going to make you wait any longer. Let's get started. Weirdly enough, the first chapter of the book does not start with Harry back at the Dursleys for the summer holidays. It actually starts with some narration about a strange house called the Riddle House. This house had a series of murders inside it, which leads to it not being inhabited. But there is a shack nearby in which a Muggle groundskeeper lives. So one day he hears some strange noises in the Riddle House, so he goes to explore it, which leads to him getting strangely murdered. During the whole chapter, we are in the point of view of the groundskeeper, so we do not know who killed him, but we do get some hints which lead us to know that it is Lord Voldemort, the main villain of the whole story. Then Harry wakes up from a nightmare thinking that this is not all real, but we do know that this is real and that Harry just witnessed it live action. Okay, now in the second chapter we really do start with Harry back at the Dursleys for the summer holiday. As we mentioned earlier, he wakes up from the nightmare that we just talked about. So he goes down to have breakfast where he is confronted by his uncle. He tells him that he got a letter for Harry from the Weasleys. The letter is written by Ron Weasley, Harry's friend's mother, asking the Dursleys for permission for Harry to come and accompany them for the Quidditch World Cup. Quidditch is the magical sport that Harry really enjoys, so this seems quite appropriate. In the letter, they also say that they will come and pick up Harry. Harry's uncle happily agrees because he loves anything that includes Harry going away. 2 days later, the Weasleys do arrive to pick up Harry, but they do not arrive in a normal way like a car or a plane. They arrive in a magical way called the Flu Network. In this magical way, they have to go into the fireplace of a house. But unfortunately for them, the Dursleys have boarded up their fireplace, so they had to blast it apart to get out. Of course, the Dursleys are surprised at this arrival because they do not know much about magic. The whole Weasley family arrives, and Ron and his twin brothers go up to help Harry get his luggage. After that, while one of the twins is fumbling around in his pocket, a piece of candy falls out. Then Harry's cousin Dudley is on a diet, so when he sees the candy, he jumps out and eats it. After he eats it, his tongue begins to expand. Then Ron's father tells all the boys to immediately leave the house. The next day, Harry woke up and got ready to go to the Quidditch World Cup, and Mr. Weasley, Ron's father, told him that they will go through a magical way called a port key. Harry asked him what a port key is, and Mr. Weasley explained that a port key is any normal object which has some special magic on it, and it essentially takes any number of people to a specified place at a specified time. So they had to walk to a nearby hill where there was an old boot, and that was the port key, which was enchanted by some officials from the Ministry of Magic. After Harry and the others reached the stadium, they watched the match between Ireland and Bulgaria. And Harry and Ron, who are big Quidditch fans, are supporting Ireland. But then Fred and George, the Weasley twins, gamble with a High Ministry official called Ludo Bagman. He will be a very important character later in the story. They tell him that Ireland will win, but the Bulgarian seeker Victor Krum will catch the snitch, and what they said will become true. After the match finishes, Harry and everyone go back to their tents to sleep for the night, but Harry feels that it is mere seconds after he slept that he is woken by Mr. Weasley, telling him to run. Harry obeys Mr. Weasley and runs out of the tent, and immediately knows why there is danger. He notices that there are men wearing robes and some masks, magically floating people and burning down tents. Harry wants to help stop them, but when he checks his pockets for his wand, he finds that he has lost it. After that, Harry, Ron and Hermione go to hide in the forest. While they are hiding there, they feel that a person is nearby, but they cannot see them. So they call out. Then the voice of a man casts a spell into the air, which is in the shape of a snake coming out of a skull. This is called the Dark Mark. It is the mark of the main villain of the story, Lord Voldemort. After that, Harry, Ron and Hermione go to chase the man, and they find a wand lying on the ground. Harry takes it and finds out that it's actually his wand. Then immediately some ministry officials start appearing, including Mr. Weasley. After that, Mr. Weasley takes Harry, Ron and Hermione and everyone else back home, and then we skip a couple of days when it's time for Harry, Ron and Hermione to go back to Hogwarts. During the arrival feast, the principal of the school, Dumbledore, announces two things. One, that there is a new Defense Against the Dark Arts teacher who is an Auror. An Auror means basically a wizard policeman, and this particular Auror is called Mad Eye Moody. The second and more important announcement that Dumbledore makes is that there will be a competition called the Triwizard Tournament held at the school, and that there will be two other schools other than Hogwarts coming to participate. They are called Durmstrang and Beauxbaton. And that there will be one champion from each school to participate for the Triwizard Cup. And Dumbledore also says if someone wants to participate, they have to put their name in the Goblet of Fire, and that no underage wizards will be competing. The next day, our main trio, which includes Harry, Ron, and Hermione, have a class of Defense Against the Dark Arts with Professor Mad Eye Moody. He teaches them about the 3 unforgivable curses. An unforgivable curse is a curse that's so powerful that if you use it on another person, it will guarantee you a lifetime in prison. But not in any normal prison, but the wizarding prison Azkaban, which I explained in my last Harry Potter video. So if you do not understand what it is, just go check that video out. Anyway, the 3 unforgivable curses are Crucio, Imperio, and Avada Kedavra. Let's start with Crucio. Crucio is a spell that causes the other person to get immense pain. The next one is Imperio, which basically mind controls the person to do whatever you want. But the third one and most important one is Avada Kedavra, which will instantly kill anyone. No one has survived this, except of course our main character Harry Potter. In the next chapter, the 2 other wizarding schools that we mentioned, Durmstrang and Beauxbaton, do arrive at Hogwarts, and Dumbledore instructs the students and says that if anyone wants to participate, he has to put his name in the Goblet of Fire. During the night of the same day, Dumbledore says that the goblet is about to make its decision, and he is right, as it picks the 3 champions. They are Victor Crumb from Durmstrang, and Fleur Delacour from Beauxbaton, and finally Cedric Diggory from Hufflepuff House from Hogwarts. But then, when everybody is celebrating, another name comes out of the goblet, and Dumbledore catches it and reads it, and before you even read it, you know it's going to be Harry Potter. After the celebration, Dumbledore calls all of the staff members and some ministry officials to discuss Harry's problem. The ministry officials are Mr. Ludo Bagman, who we already mentioned, and a new person called Mr. Barty Crouch. After some discussion, they decide that Harry will have to compete in the tournament like any other champion. Because if your name is pulled out of the Goblet of Fire, you have to compete, because it is like a contract. After that, Dumbledore dismisses Harry and tells him that he has to go to the Gryffindor common room. When he goes there, everybody is celebrating and congratulating him, except one person, and that is Ron. Ron is upset because he wanted to participate in the tournament, because he wanted the cash prize or some glory. But when Harry came out of the Goblet of Fire, he became sad. The next day, while Harry is in the potions class, another student comes and tells him that he, as a champion, has to go and have an interview. So he goes out of the class and goes to a specified location where he sees the 3 other champions, a person named Mr. Ollivander, who is a wand maker, and a female interviewer called Rita Skeeter. After he takes the interview with Rita Skeeter, he goes to Mr. Ollivander, who checks his wand to see if it has any faults or anything. After he does that, he goes outside and meets Hagrid, who tells him that he has to meet him at night with his invisibility cloak. For the next couple of days, Harry is nervously preparing and studying for the first task. But when he wakes up on the day of the task, he has reached a new type of nerve. Then he is confronted by one of the teachers and tells him that he has to go to the champion's tent and wait for further instructions for the task. When he goes there, he finds out that the 3 other champions are already waiting there. And then he waits for some time, and Mr. Bagman comes in and tells them what we already know, that the first task will be about dragons. But they will not have to kill or defeat a dragon. They will have to get a golden egg that the dragon will be defending. And that they will have to first pick a figurine out of a bag, which will be the type of dragon that they will get, and the order of who will go first. After everyone has picked their thing out of their bag, Harry finds out that with his luck he has of course gotten the most dangerous thing, and that he is the last champion to go, which will give him more time to be nervous. So he waits and waits and waits until his name is called, and he goes out into the stadium, where he finds the dragon waiting for him to greet him. Then he uses a spell called the Summoning Charm to get his broom. His plan is to get the dragon away from the egg so that he can get it. His plan does work, but unfortunately he gets injured in the way, but he does get the egg after all. After that, Harry goes back to the hospital wing to get healed. then goes to get his scores and finds out that he is tied for first place with Victor Crumb. He also finds out that Ron is no longer upset and is again talking to Harry. Harry then goes back to the champion's tent and Mr. Bagman tells him that the second task will be in February, which is a long way away. But until then, the golden egg that they have catched will be a clue for them that they will have to solve. Then Harry goes back to the Gryffindor common room, and when he opens the egg with everyone, it starts screeching loudly and horribly. Then after that, Harry closes it and wonders how to solve it. After that, Harry has to go through two more challenging tasks. The first one where he has to save Ron from a lake, and the second where all of the champions have to race through a maze to get the Triwizard Cup. After the third task, Harry meets an unexpected guest and finds out who put his name in the Goblet of Fire. Anyway guys, I hope you have enjoyed this video. Try to read the book for yourself and don't forget to subscribe, like and share. And if you have any suggestions, leave it down in the comments for me. But anyways, bye.